Hello and welcome to yet another series of knowledge sharing session by our vibrant group HR Rainmakers. My name is Shamita and I'm going to take you through the session today. So today we have selected a very important and relevant topic for not only HR professionals but others as well. This is an era of abrupt technological changes and we all want to keep pace with it, want to learn more about it. But where do we draw the line? How much is sufficient? How much is too much? For HR professionals in specific and for all other professionals in general, we are going to learn today the role of changing technology in our lives. Let me introduce our speaker of today, Mr. Sunando Chaudhary, who is the head of information technology for Abu Dhabi Exhibitions Company. He is a blockchain strategist from Oxford University and ITIL PMP certified, coming with 20 years of experience in information technology. So without wasting any further time, I would like to invite upon Mr. Sunando to share your vast and in-depth knowledge about changing technology and how HR professionals can implement and where to draw the line, how much we should absorb. The stage is all yours. Over to you.
Can others go on mute, please? Yeah. Again, good afternoon, evening, everybody. And Shamita, thank you very much. And Mohan and a few others who I spoke with, I think, a couple of weeks back, for giving me this opportunity and talking to an audience which I've never spoken to be honest. So I'm looking forward equally to learn from you and share knowledge. It's not. And I was telling Shamita when we started the meeting that just before people joined in, that it's not something that I'm going to talk and everybody's going to listen. I have no intention of doing that. I really want everybody to participate. What I've tried to do is I've tried to put in a few um, polls in between. So I'll really like people to participate, write in them. I think that will be useful for everybody. So without further ado, I know time is not that much. I've tried to put in a lot of information. It might be a bit overwhelming at time. So just to let it pass, and I'll try to keep it simple. So I don't know. I'm not going to maybe spend any time on this one. I was thinking we might do a quick round of expectations, but I think it's considering we have an hour or maybe hour 15. I don't want to spend any time on that. So just a couple of things about myself. As Shamita said, I'm basically an engineer by profession. Been working in the technology field for quite some time. Uh, I've been lucky enough, I have to say, I've worked in pretty much most part of the world. Had very good experiences, both from a technology point of view, from people point of view, and had the opportunity to learn a lot while I've been working around. Been in the UAE for the last 9 odd years, so that's given me a different perspective as well. Yeah, some of the things that no need to go through my certifications and all. Some of the companies that I've managed to work with, at the bottom of the screen you can see them. So yeah, I've had a fairly I would say good career to have gained a lot from, and so hopefully I'll be sharing some of it today with you. And as I said, it's a diverse kind of audience. I would like to learn as well as we go along. So again, feel free to stop me whenever you think you want to ask something, and I'll try and stop whenever as we move along on the slides. Some of the slides you might, as I said, might find a bit overwhelming, but yeah, just read them and try and internalize. If you have questions, ask me. I'm not going to read the slides typically. So, and I'm just taking a cue from where Shamita left. I think it's extremely important for even as HR professionals yourselves and in general, technology adoption is, as you see, are moving is really moving fast. You can see the numbers that's there on the screen. I mean, an automobile industry took uh, more than I think 62 years or something like that to get 50 million users. A mobile phone took 50, just over 10 years. And if you see the numbers, and I'm not going to read them, some of them have really done, exception at an exceptional pace. And Pokemon Go, as you see bottom right hand corner, just took 19 days to get 50 million users. So that's the amount of, what I'm trying to say here is the technology is moving. There's a lot of noise in the background. I don't know it's from my side or so. Um, so what I'm trying to say here is the technology is moving at a very fast pace, and it's imperative that we as professionals, doesn't matter which part of the business we belong, we really need to be with it, we move ahead with it, and constantly change ourselves and educate and update ourselves. So that's what I'm trying to portray here. So moving on, and as I said, please stop me wherever you think it's relevant. So this was, and I'm just trying to link it with the current situation, which is impact of COVID-19. And if you look at the graphs, and so the on your right, what you see is a survey which was conducted for HR professionals in the Middle East. So you can see how the digital transformation is impacting the people within the Middle East as well. So 72% of respondents have said that, has accelerated the digital conversion. This is from HR professionals, from yourselves. And what I want to show on the left side, if you see what has happened due to the digital disruption that has happened due to COVID-19, yes, digital transformation and things like that have started coming in. But if the look at the place where I'm highlighting, the three areas which are in the top five are actually directly impacting professionals like yourselves, who are really, having a significant say in this area. Cyber security, data privacy, which is also one of the key things which I am sure, as HR professionals, you have extremely, high responsibility. Leadership and talent development, which is number four, which is you pretty much run it within your organizations, and organic growth programs. So if you see in the top five, three of them really directly impact, or has a you have an impact on these. So this is COVID-19, and I'm just trying to set the context why we are doing this session today. And as I said again, please stop me whenever you think
Shamita, if you
you
can
want to.
just put it as a full screen. I mean, if we, for the next
It's not.
slide,
It's
if you
not.
can
It's
remove
not in a
this one.
full screen.
Yeah.
It's not in full screen.
Yeah, it's
We
not
can
in
see
full
the
screen.
next,
If it can come as a full screen.
Oh,
we can see the next
I'm
slide
sorry
also.
about that. I didn't
Yeah.
realize. Okay, okay. All right, let's do this. Hold on for a second. I just stop the share for a minute and do it one more time. Just 1 second. Oh, is that better now?
Still not sharing. Yeah. Now we can see. Yeah, better now.
Can you see the full screen?
Yes.
Okay. So so yeah, as I was saying, the come on. Yeah, as you can see, the top five, among the top five, the top, three of them have really impact from yourselves. You have a role to play in that. So moving on, this is something that came up in a the rules of digital age. This is a survey from Deloitte Global, Human Capital Trends, and maybe some of you have actually read it and internalized it. I just wanted to put it as a placeholder here for your for you to see that there's a lot of work, and that's where this whole session came into light when Shamita, myself, we were talking about blockchain and AI and things like that, and that's when we were deliberating, and if you see, it says that HR is being left out of AI driven work redesign, and so there are factors where I think there's a huge contribution that as HR professionals yourselves can do, and that's what I just wanted to show it here. The link is there. If somebody wants to go ahead and read the survey, please do that. And we have just to set the context. So now what we'll do is now we're going to move into today's session pretty much. And if I may, I'll ask all of you to please go to, on your whatever device that you're using, if you can go to a a place called slido.com. So if you look on your left, if you write slido.com, and then it would ask you for a uh, code. So you can see the code on the left, 395686. Or what you can do is, if you have a mobile phone you're using, you can just switch on the camera and put the scan the QR code on your left. And I just wanted to see from yourselves, just to keep it a bit interactive as well. So how do you see the impact of digital disruption within your own organizations, pretty much kind of post COVID 19? So if I can give you 20, 25, 30 seconds to go ahead. So go to slido.com in any device you are using, put in the number. It would ask for a number. So I've already started, and you'll see the responses as they come in. So we've got 2 responses there, and people are getting there. Yeah, so we're increasing. So or just use the QR code on the left. I think we have around 19 participants, so I would hope a few more responses. We've got 5 already. If you're using a mobile, the easiest way to do is just take the QR code, and it should directly let you in the survey.
Sir, what is the code we need to put?
If you have gone to slido.com, that's the code on your left on your screen, 395686. So we've got 8 responses. Can we get a few more? Will be good. So people who are, I can see some of them are just joining in. So if you're joining in now, we was doing a quick poll on Slido. So if you go to slido.com and put in the number 395686, you should be able to answer. So just give maybe another 10 seconds. Okay, so still 12 responses. Anybody having any difficulty? Otherwise, we'll just. All right, I think we'll move on. So so the next thing, so as you can see, you guys are voting yourselves, and all of you are saying this like significant change that you're seeing, 77%, which is like 3/4, more than 3/4 to be honest, are saying that we are seeing significant changes due to maybe people working remotely, etc., new technology coming in, ways of working, doing Zoom meetings like what we are doing now, things like that. So that's good. So at least I think we are all on the same page. So with that, I'll ask another question. how do you see as your role as HR changing due to the impact of this disruption that you just mentioned? And this is something you can just write, just write on your uh, laptop, computer, mobile, and your answers will just come in. What do you think as a role in HR? How do you any any anybody? I mean, you can just write. There's nothing. There's no right or wrong answer here. We're just sharing. We're just trying to understand what's really happening. You can write words. You can just write sentences. Whatever. Yeah. Yeah, there are some of the answers coming, changing. Usually when we say, yeah, okay, role of HR has been, yeah, so many new changes. Fantastic. Agile methods. I like that. That's really nice. Any more? Not able to keep pace. Hopefully today's session will be of some use. Managing people better with influx of disruption. Yeah, I think that's one of the key roles that you guys play, becoming more strategic with increased focus on experience. It would be more of a business driven strategic HR, progressing from transactional HR. Nice. Yeah. So maybe another 10 seconds and move on. Okay. So I think, so if you see what we are seeing from the two surveys that we are doing, we just did. Yes, you can see a lot of change that has come in, irrespective of whichever organizations we are all working on. And then all of you are kind of highlighting the same thing. It's a lot of digital disruption happening. HR needs to take maybe bring in some kind of uh, uh, innovative methods which can really enhance the overall business. So with that in mind, what we're going to do in the next, say, 15 to 20 minutes, I'm going to introduce you to a few of the technologies that are predominantly in the current industry, and which are being significantly used. I'm sure some of it is already you are aware of. Few things might be new. But I would really suggest, if anybody has any questions, please stop me anytime. And it's good to, if you have any doubts, it's good to clarify and discuss. It would make so much more interesting, the discussion. So with that, I'll move to the first uh, technology that I wanted to share with you. This is about cloud computing. So I'm sure at various forums, and I'm assuming, again, as I said, I'm assuming some of you might be already aware of, some of you are not aware of, some of you are using it but not aware of, and some of them have never heard about it. So I'll try to keep it neutral, but if you have any questions, please ask. So cloud computing is extremely pervasive, not something that you are looking onto the right, but yeah, it's always, we do get such quotes from some people in the industry as well, that cloud computing, what it means is, very simply putting, it's a connected network. So a connected network which is bigger than, like, our home network, our office network. So everything, a host of servers and network devices, they're all connected across the world, providing you with the flexibility and the And we will look at the next slide. What are the benefits that cloud computing provides? And believe me, all these new technologies that are so prevalent in the market today, and we will talk about AI, we will talk about blockchain and things like that as we go along. All these technologies were there for some time, not new. But what has happened is cloud computing has been the key driver to change this entire dynamics, because what has happened is, due to cloud computing, everything is so connected, so pervasive, so easily accessible, that we are able to use the increased technology capability for doing our work. Some of the things that we use on a day-to-day basis, I think you must have all heard about, uh, you know Microsoft provides cloud services, Amazon provides cloud services, and actually most of the companies nowadays, many of you in this part of the world use Oracle. So Oracle provides on its cloud platform. So if we move on, so what does that do? I mean, and you can see the image that's there. On a day-to-day life, what we do, we use Google. Most of us use. Even nowadays, we use, the Zoom login. We just do the Google login, so it becomes easy. Or any other, many of the Facebook and everything. We just connect everything. So it's effectively, what happens is, cloud computing is making these things easily accessible, easily manageable. And Google, or Microsoft, having this entire set of facilities or flexibility that you use. A lot of organizations, by the way, are moving to, I don't know if some of your organizations are moving in this part of the world, are moving into something called Office 365. If you hear this term in your organizations, Office 365, and maybe some of you are using it already, it's basically nothing but migrating your email server, which is called Exchange in most cases, to a cloud, on the Azure. So Microsoft has its cloud called Azure. That's the name. If you hear these terms, you know these are what they are. So Microsoft is using the Azure platform. uh, AWS, you might have heard the term AWS. It's called Amazon Web Services. So Amazon has a suite of products across what we buy, that Amazon.com or Amazon.ae. From there till they have a whole suite of products. Amazon has a lot of organizations use Amazon Cloud to host their services. So that's what it does is, it provides you the flexibility, it provides mobility on demand, it's available all the time, it's effectively a virtual office for you. It doesn't allow you to lose your data. So there are many functionalities that come in with the cloud computing. And that's why you will hear constantly within your organizations, I'm sure you're hearing, where people keep on talking to migrating. The IT people, you'll see here most of the time talking migrating to the cloud, if they are not already on the cloud. So cloud means nothing. It's a network of computers which are connected across the world, providing you with these functionalities, which are written on your left side of the slide. You can read them, and 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 so that's why it has become so pervasive in our day-to-day life now. So any questions? Anything on cloud? Anybody has a comment or a question or an experience they want to share? Nothing. Okay, fair enough. So moving on. So the next technology that I want to show you is about artificial intelligence. Again, I'm sure you're hearing this a lot. Artificial intelligence all around every day. People just talk about artificial intelligence. So what is artificial intelligence? And as you can see, the artificial intelligence started way back in the 1950s. It was not invented or discovered suddenly in 2015 or 2018, that are people have started talking about artificial intelligence. even the definition of artificial intelligence, which was coined by the father of AI, it was done way back in the 1950s, as you can see on the left side. So artificial intelligence is in very, very simple terms described as ability for computers to act as humans. So that's what, the machines have become so strong. So they are slowly becoming able to do things which are uh, the machines, which humans can do. So that's what is artificial intelligence in very, very layman's language. Couple of things happened, and people who are as old as me or older would know. In back in 1997, Gary Kasparov was beaten by an IBM computer called Deep Blue playing chess. And so that was an example of machine learning or artificial intelligence. And we'll just talk about the types of artificial intelligence in the next slide. So what I wanted you to understand, that artificial intelligence is not something, it's pervasive, it's there with us, we use it every day. And we'll look at the examples. It's simply machines being able to think and act and do like humans. So there are, I put in some links. When you get time, try them out, and I'm sure you'll enjoy. So moving on, what are the types of artificial intelligence? And I won't bore you. This is a busy slide with a lot of content you can read in your you know leisure. Basically, artificial intelligence has three types. So the poorest form of artificial intelligence is robotics, and you would hear a lot of discussion about robots, but robots are effectively the lowest form of artificial intelligence, because robots are just doing things manually which humans used to do. It's not using any brain. So effectively it's not intelligent. It's just mimicking the human and delivering things like robots. And people who might be from the manufacturing industry would know robots have been used in manufacturing industry for ages now. So it's not something new, it's been there. So robots were the first form of artificial intelligence. Effectively, what happened was the manual jobs were converted to robots. If it was repetitive manual job, it was a robot was brought in and the robot was doing that. So that's what robotics is about. Of course, it's significantly improved. Now you have personal assistants, chatbots. We use chatbots. You can see the examples on the top. This Hey Cortana, Siri, everything that we use on a day-to-day basis. And Google is the best one, which I think even I'm sure some of you have a Google Home or something at your home. And if you try talking to it, I mean, you talk, it answers in one way. Maybe your wife talks or your husband talks, and they answer in a different way, because it recognizes the voice. And that's what is artificial intelligence. And that's what is the next level, which is number two, which is the NLP, natural language processing. So that's the second kind of artificial intelligence, where the machine is able to understand or differentiate even your voice, even the way you talk. And you can see the examples are there: chatbots, Alexa, Google Home. So all these are examples. So when it can recognize, it can even differentiate between voice. You give a command and it does take the action. So that's how the machine is able to learn. And the most advanced, or the most which the maximum work is happening, is machine learning. So machine learning is a computer science field where machines are constantly made to learn and become like humans. So they are thinking, they are able to initially what happens is, initially you train them, then they start learning, and then you supervise them. And then what happens is, then they become intelligent. and they are able to predict. So you so it would happen sometime, and it is happening, I'm sure, in some homes. As you come in, your Google Home starts playing a soft music or something, which is something that you might like. So that's where it is going, that's where the intelligence is going. And machine learning is taking things to that level. Already there are so many examples. And by the way, let me caveat by saying there's a huge negative, uh, you know uh, there are risks and threats also about all of these. And we have all seen and watched the Transformer movie. So that's effectively, artificial intelligence, because it can become bad at a point in time. And it has happened. I'll give you an example. I think a couple of years back, Facebook had to publicly apologize because the code that runs, when you watch Facebook, and it keeps giving you what you want to watch or what you have watched in the past. It gives you likes and dislikes, things like that. So Facebook, there was the code, it started behaving, it became so smart, it started overwriting the original code by giving a negative publicity to Facebook. So Facebook had to close that code, publicly apologize to everybody, and take that code down. So that's what machine learning can do. It has huge benefits. The world is using it, in its really enhancing everything. However, there are drawbacks which can also happen. Any questions, comments? Right, if there's nothing, then I will share with you the next one, which is robotic process automation. I don't know again how many of you have been using it. Maybe some of you are, some of you are not. It's we were discussing robots in the previous slides. So robotics is was more the manual or the physical robots that you have seen. RPA, or robotic process automation, is pretty much a virtual robot or a software robot. This is being this has been there for a while also, but it is significantly again increased or enhanced uh, due to the due to the or due to the Mac, I would say, use of cloud computing. So software robots are used in our day-to-day life quite a bit, and believe me, and I really think that this is something which all of you should, if you're not using in within your organization, this has huge potential for HR professionals like yourselves. You should be able to use it. There are very simple tools that can be used, available online, uh, low cost. So investments are less, but huge benefits can be derived. So they are basically software robots. What they do is, within your process, you have a standardized process. There are many tasks that you unnecessarily do multiple times manually. So this software robot will run, it will do the task. If it cannot do the task, it will uh, stop, and it will give you a notification, so that a manual support is required. So it's not that it's going to run it even if it's not doing its work correctly. So that's how it works. I'm talking at a very high level, but if anybody is interested, I can go in more depth. So what it does is, it's a very it's a simple solution, as I said. Very low cost of ownership, ease of use. You can try it out, doesn't work, you can throw it off, doesn't matter. It's really cheap. It really enhances productivity, really increases productivity. And it's a non-invasive solution. When I say non-invasive solution, it doesn't disturb anything. So you have, most of us work with 5 Excel files and 3 PowerPoints and 2 Word files, and try and gather data, everything from, and put it on the ERP, and from the ERP we, again put it somewhere else, depending on how our business works. So so this tool, a very small tool, a software tool, can do all of that. And I really, I mean, I know there's always a debate that, okay, so if the tool is going to do all of that, then we are, as humans, are becoming redundant. No, humans are not becoming redundant. Humans are able, and that's where, as HR professionals, you can drive that. Humans are able to move to that next level, which is a supervisory level, and able to do things which are more meaningful, which are more, and not do always, the transactional activities, which this RPA can do. Any questions? Okay.
Any examples, Sananda?
Yeah. We will come to them.
Okay.
Yeah, I have a lot of examples, especially for RPA, AI, and all.
We wait for that.
But
No worries.
yeah. But yeah, RP has a lot of examples, to
Okay.
be
Thank you.
honest.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. So, blockchain, again. This is where our whole discussion had started. I mean, Shamita asked me if I could do a session on blockchain, and then we kind of, we thought we'll expand it. So blockchain is another technology which is slowly picking up. It is again something that was there, but it's really picked up, and there are very good use cases for HR professionals, which again we will share in the use cases. But blockchain is, I'll try and explain in a very simple language. What happens is, there are, if you remember, in the old days, people used to write ledgers. So especially the finance people used to write, X credit and Y debit, and again, ABC credit and XYZ debit, things like that. So they used to write it in a piece of book. So that was called a ledger. So exactly the same thing. So each line item, effectively, if you think, has become like now a software token, or a software which is available, cannot be changed by anybody, and it's a digital asset. And so these get linked up across the world, again using cloud computing and using the cloud and the technology, whereby it's a record which can be shared, and it's a decentralized record. So yes, the ownership remains with somebody. My data I own, but if it is decentralized, it's available across the whole world, or across the blockchain that is connected. And that's why these blocks, when they are connected, it's called as a blockchain. And again, I'm talking at a very high level, but if, as I said, if somebody is interested, I can do a detailed session on this. So this is basically a old ledger made digital, but connected across the world, across the blockchain, not across the world, across the blockchain. So blockchains are created. And if you remember, in 2019, was it, there was an announcement that Dubai would really go for blockchain, to be a blockchain city, and all the activities that are done. And I think some of them are already happening. Land reforms, land deals and things like that are already happening on blockchain in Dubai. So some of the key features on the left side, those features are actually the key things which drive a blockchain. If you look to the right, then it will be easier for you to understand what happens. And as you can see, this is an example I've taken for a book called Blockchain for Dummies, made by IBM. You can search for it, it's available online. So it's a very simple example of a transfer of ownership of a car. So same can be applied for land, same can be applied for anything else. Effectively, there's an in-house ledger for the manufacturer, one for the dealer, one for the leasing company, lessee, and scrap merchant, etc., etc. So, and on top of that, there's a regulator who's sitting outside, who's also keeping his books of record. But on a blockchain, so effectively a smart ledger will be created, which is accessible to all of them. So everybody who is connecting on this blockchain are connected, have a node, have access to that database, have access to that record and access to the something called smart contracts, which I mentioned. Smart contracts is nothing but a contract. So basically, so those will define the parameters, and all the participants, the manufacturer, the dealer, the leasing company, lessee, scrap merchant, or the regulator, everybody would have access to their records, to their own records. However, they'll be able to see how the transaction flow is happening, and will be in a position to see even the finances, how they are moving. So basically what happens is, effectively, we all know what happens when you're, in a car deal, not only a car deal or something, house deal, especially back in India, maybe not so much in the UAE. There are dealers who come in and get you a better rate or something like that, and we give you two freebies and all these things. But so in a blockchain, everything becomes black and white. Everything is connected. Everybody can see what's happening. So there's no opportunity for mistakes or cheating, or everything is time stamped. It's distributed, as I said, everybody. And the best part of the blockchain is the records are immutable, so it cannot be deleted. I mean, I very recently, very recently, literally a week or so back, and I will give you the same example of a car dealership. My friend bought a car in the UAE, and I know he delayed buying the car for over 6 months because he was not getting the color that he was asking for. And obviously, that was not coming from wherever, whichever part of the world the car was coming in. Unfortunately, what happened, he received the car 2 weeks back, and he didn't actually take the handover of the car. He received the registration card, which comes, as you know, nowadays directly to us, automated systems since COVID. So he got the registration card, only to find out that the color that he had chosen was not issued in his name, and he got a different color. And so he had a lot of, lot of fight, a lot of discussions, etc. happened, and eventually, they came to some kind of an agreement. So that's not important. But what I'm trying to say is, had this been a blockchain ledger, and by the way, just why I'm saying this, because we have seen the document which was printed from their system. So on the system, there's a number of the color. So whichever color he wanted, say the number was 5. So that 5 was written there. However, in the later, that 5 was a printout was taken, the 5 was struck off, and some say 10 was written, and he got that color 10, though he was supposed to get the 5 which he had asked for. What I'm trying to say is, had this been on the blockchain, in no way this could have happened. So I'll leave it there, just to give an example, because that record is immutable. The record cannot be changed. You can create a new record. So a new record would have got created saying that Mr. XYZ, you had come in on such and such date and requested for a change in color. So a new record would have come in, but the old record would never get deleted or changed. So had it been on a blockchain, which obviously it's not. So just again, a simple example to give you the concept. Moving on, the last one, and I'm not going to bore you with anything else. IoT, which I think maybe most of you have seen being in use. It's nothing but, again, due to the huge influx of computing and cloud
So
computing.
can you give one more example on blockchain?
Sure. Shall we come during the examples? If it's all
Sure.
right, I have listed quite a few there.
Sure, that will be okay.
Okay. Yeah. So so we are coming there anyway. I'm just being conscious of time. Yeah. So IoT is nothing but a technology which is all the devices. Everything is connected nowadays. You have smart homes where you come in, switch on, lights come on automatically as from your mobile. You're able to do it. most of us do that in this part of the world, switch on our cars before we get in. So it's all basically connected devices through the internet. And it's everything. Smart cities are very good examples of IoT, actually, where if an ambulance is coming in on a road, what happens is the signals automatically turn green. And not only the signals turn green for the ambulance, it it makes sure that the road that the ambulance is supposed to travel only is clear, because the rest of the traffic is diverted on the other streets. So this is the beauty of IoT. So IoT can do this. Smart cities are doing this. Barcelona is an example of a smart city, by the way. So IoT is basically connecting everything through the internet, through devices. It allows things to work in a synchronized fashion. And I'm not going to get time. I think it's better we move to the examples. uh, there are things are there. You can read them. uh, IoT functionalities, it just says, just on your left, if you see, and by 2021 they're expecting 21 billion IoT devices, 25 billion IoT devices to be actually in function. It's a very powerful tool, used a lot in enhancing operations and all. And yeah, I mean, I'll leave it there for the moment. um, so with that, I have, uh, if you can, you think of any use cases, anybody, on the same platform? Or if you are how are we doing on time, Shamita? Is it all right? We have 30 seconds for people to allow answers, or we move on?
Yeah, we can still, yeah, we can, we have 10, 15 minutes. Yeah, no problem.
Okay, so can people think of, some of you, I know some of you asked examples, but what do you think? And we are going to go through some of them now. But if you can think of anything that might be useful with these technologies, just put in. Again, it's just you know it's open. You can write whatever you want to. It's There's nothing right or wrong. Yeah, recruitment. Yeah, good one. I think it's very obvious one for HR professionals. Anything else? Anybody? On your day-to-day life, I'm sure you use a lot of them quite regularly. Okay, I think what we'll do is let's look at the examples, and then maybe we can have some discussions around them. So with that, what we'll do is we'll look at some of the use cases. So, and what I've tried to do here is I put very specific use cases only, which relate to human resources, human capital, and things like that. So these are examples which are used in a lot already by many organizations. I've tried to give you the links as well. You can go and read more about them. But if you just quickly go through, and if you look on the right, top right hand corner, what Gordon Fuller, Vice President and Chief Learning Officer of IBM, he's saying uh, uh, I mean, how they are using AI, how they're able to see how learning relates to engagement without even having to ask our employees the perception. So which is I think a great statement. And one of the things that's most commonly used is recruitment. I am sure you all know, when people, the CVs, when they get shortlisted or removed or rejected, it's an AI engine basically working effectively. An AI engine is looking at the CVs. You have 5,000 CVs sent across, but obviously you, as a whoever is doing the recruitment job, don't have the capacity to look at 5,000 CVs. So what the AI engines nowadays are doing, and I'm sure all of you use people who work on recruitment, effectively they scrutinize the resumes, look at the skills matching, look at whatever are the parameters have been set in, and give you maybe with 50 CVs to consider out of the 5,000. So that's a very very common use case that's happening across the globe. Employee engagement is something that really is, I think many organizations are doing, including virtual assistants, uh, self kind of chatbots internally within organizations, really useful. And you can make the chatbots smarter. So when I say smarter, you can have them take an example of if somebody wants to book a leave. So the chatbot can actually help them and book the leave on their behalf. So you can just say, how many leaves do I have? Chatbot will go back, search, it will tell you these many, and then it will allow you to actually block a leave from date to a to date. So these kind of things, which will really, I think, if you as professionals take the help of your technology teams and deliver, I think it would really have a, and maybe some of you are doing it already. And if somebody wants to share their experience, please do. If you have something like this which you are using. Schedule management is another one which is working a lot. People are using schedule management, and as HR professionals, you can definitely use this as a feature. But I think the first three, the recruitment, employee engagement, and virtual assistants are really easy and can be implemented quite easily. Any questions, comments? So these are only use cases with AI. Right. So I remember, I know somebody mentioned about use cases for RPA. So here you go. Some of the RPA ones which are actually really, really easy to implement. And I think it can really help you enhance your work, give you more time to spend with employees or line managers or whoever, but remove your manual tasks significantly. And on the even on the right, you can see this is something from Infosys. So they've kind of given a full journey of what they can do in various parts of HR. On your left, I have put in some examples, um, and I think all of them can be very easily implemented. And the most commonly used RPA task is, by the way, payroll management. Just to let you know, because finance and HR are the areas which are really using RPA a lot. Other than call centers, and also there's a use of RPA in volume business also. So if you have like, you know, and even within HR, if you have a HR help desk where you receive tickets and requests, RPA is a very easy tool to implement to really enhance that. So any questions on any of the uh, use cases, or any doubts how to go about RPA, or how do we implement RPA, or okay. So these are some of the examples of RPA, as I said. So I will go to the next one, which is blockchain. Again, some of the use cases on blockchain. There's a video on the bottom. I'll try and play it if I can. I hope you can hear it. Are you able to hear the sound?
No, we are not actually. At least I'm not.
This is
No, sound is not coming, Sunandu.
not coming, right?
Yeah, it's not audible.
This has always been a challenge. Let me see if I can get that one fixed. But anyway, otherwise, what I'll do is I'll leave the video. I think we are short on time as well. So it's just anyway a 2 minutes video. I mean, what happens is typically what this video was about. It's a funny video where it says, "Oh, I'm going to invest in Bitcoin." The lady says, and then somebody says, "What is a Bitcoin?" And then this is a blockchain based something. And there's a lot of confusion. When you get the slide deck, maybe try and play the video. There's a lot of, and you must have heard this. A lot of people say, "What is blockchain?" It's Bitcoin. No, Bitcoin is not blockchain. Blockchain is the technology. Bitcoin is one of them that uses blockchain. So just for your information, I'm sure you're aware of, but if you're not, so these are some of the things on blockchain. Somebody was asking on use cases for blockchain. Credential verification is one of the things which is being used the maximum for on blockchain, by the way. And nowadays, if you see, if you are doing a course from any of the bigger universities, you get a number, a unique number. So that unique number is nothing but a blockchain number. That's your certificate number. So this is connected across a blockchain, whereby if any organization that you want to work or you have been working on, or your future employer, or if you're going to plan for higher studies in the future, that number is through which the any of these can actually check your credential, that it's a genuine credentials. That's being used a lot, and that's entirely on blockchain, if you didn't know. Smart contracts we spoke about. Smart contracts are again contracts which happen across the whole blockchain. So this one contract which everybody can use, and there are things written there which are again immutable, cannot be changed, and so people can the land. I know in Dubai, the land records are using smart contracts. Background employee check verification, very easily done, and this is something a blockchain is doing. Compliance and regulation is something also. A lot of use cases are there. People are already using it, and yeah, I mean access to external talent and all are of course something that can be done. And also on your right, as you see, it shows how a entire blockchain in the whole value chain of a HR journey can be used. Any questions, any comments?
So I just wanted to ask that who
Yes.
all has the access for the blockchain? Like
So
you
that
mentioned an example.
Mhm.
Yeah, sorry.
Correct. So if you remember the example that we were talking about, so a blockchain would have all these parties connected on a blockchain.
Hmm.
So all the parties, so everybody will have access. So it's not about that, only one person owns the blockchain. The blockchain is shared across the entire life cycle. However, you own your own pieces of information, but the
Okay.
information is shared across the whole blockchain. So blockchain is created with all the parties. Nobody owns the blockchain. All the parties together make the blockchain. And you can add parties to that, you can remove parties to that, depending on, again, on the legalities.
Okay. All right.
Okay. Thank
Got it. So thank you.
you. So how do we start? I've just maybe last one or two slides and I can stop talking. So how do we start? See, the most important thing that I tell everybody, and including IT professionals, is it's not about the technology, it's about the use case. Find the right use case within your business, your organization, your area of influence. That's the most important thing. If you can find out the right use case that you can improve on. If you have a good business process, that's the first place you can look at. How can I remove the waste? If I am doing, as I said during the RPA discussion, if I am looking at, 3 sets of Excel files and 2 sets of Word document to create an employee profile on my ERP, then that's something I should get rid of. If I put an RPA engine, it will be faster, it will be correct, it will be 100% correct. I, as a human, can make a mistake, but that the software robot will not make the mistake. It will pick up the passport number exactly as the employee has submitted the passport and input it in the right field. It will put in the correct dates of the passport expiry. It will 100% do the, wherever it gets stuck, it will ask support. So these kind of, if you find the use case, find the use case, and I'm sure you can fit some of the, and that's why I said, and if you read the last but one statement here, tackle the easiest for simple. RPA is easy to implement, and you can see that because it's a volume based, you can see the value immediately. If you're doing 50 transactions in a month, and an RPA can reduce your time, you will save so much more time to do other important valuable things. Look at, think digitally. Don't think always manually. And I think COVID-19 has helped us, all of us, to do that. We have started thinking digitally. We have looked at our value chain in a more with a digital mindset. Earlier, people never used to think like that. Unless you see that piece of paper, your CFO won't sign, or some guy will not sign. But now I think people have started. So if you start looking at your part of the business digitally, I think you'll be able to see. And I think the most important is always look that there should be some value that should come. It's not about implementing technology. It's not about just putting a software in. If it's not delivering value, then it's, and I remember somebody at the beginning mentioned agile, be agile. There's a framework called agile project management, and that the key driver of that is value. If you are not going to get value out of something, don't do that. And look at minimum viable products, or MVP as we call it in IT language. So small chunks of value. It's not that, you're not going to do an entire blockchain at once, but if you can do a small part of it, let's do that. And as I said, tech, give yeah, that's also important. Give some tools to your workforce, make them use it. If they don't use it, you as HR have a lot of opportunity where you can push people to use technology. And in the last statement, as I said, AI and blockchain, they require some investments. There's some infrastructure investments, but there are many online tools that you can use. And I've put in some for just for fun, but in the next slide, so you can look at that. Um, so I've put in some certifications, some education. There are very specific education available on all these technologies: blockchain, RPA, AI, for HR professionals. I've tried and put in some. They're all linked, so you can, if you click, you should be able to go there. All of them, Coursera, Udemy, everybody has. There's a lot of other organizations are doing courses, MIT, Harvard, and all these short courses, very useful, which are 6 weeks, 3 to 6 weeks, 4 to 6 weeks. Quite really, they're not really, you have to go and build an AI engine, no, but at least you get the concept. You work. And I remember when I did my blockchain course from Oxford, I had actually 2 HR community members with me in my team. So because they had asked us to make smaller groups to deliver a project, and it was great. It was great. So I think they were also enjoying the course, and so was I. And LinkedIn, of course, has many courses. So with that, pretty much I'm at the end. There are some of the, as I said, just for fun, go ahead and you can check your age. You can put 2 pictures of yourself from different time and see what's the matching. By the way, a lot of this is all AI basically. a lot of the CID and these kind of police work use a lot of image recognition, and these are some of the AI engines that they use. So again, I've just put in some examples. Microsoft Azure, I just found out Azure is giving 12 months of free all the tools, so you can just go in and just play around. With that, pretty much I'm at the end. I don't know if you would like to let me know if you want to learn anything more, any feedback, please feel free to put in. And with that, thank you very much, and over to you. I mean, I'm open for any questions, any comments, suggestions.
Yeah, we can take some questions. I think Dhaval wants to ask.
Yes.
Some
Hi. Hi.
Hi.
Thank you very much for sharing, and thank you very much for hosting the session. It was wonderful in terms of understanding the basics of how things operate in the AI, the blockchain space, as well as very insightful in terms of knowing what courses could be done and other things. I have quick, maybe one or two questions which come to my mind.
Please.
Would you know of companies which have set examples in this space, penetrating most of the processes from, because I understand recruitment and talent management is a process which is being done a lot in a lot
Yeah.
of companies,
Yeah.
but say performance management or all these areas as well, and some companies which are maybe startups but excelling in those areas. Any so someone could probably read about it. So
Yeah, there are a lot of companies within UAE also.
okay.
Of course, in India, thousands of companies, to be honest. But yeah, I mean, I'm happy to point you towards the direction if that is what you are looking
Please.
for.
Please, so
I'll
that
do
it'd be a use case. So maybe we could probably understand and learn about it. So
Correct. No, absolutely. There's a lot of companies, and as I said, some things are also available online itself. So
sure.
the example that I put here for the RPA, this is done by Infosys.
Okay.
So it's done by Infosys. They published it. They're saying, tell us, and we'll do it for you.
Okay.
Because yeah, just an example again. But
Yeah.
but yes, there are a lot of companies, and for sure I'll put them
Sure.
through
Sure.
Samita. I will.
Sure. And Shamita, just a quick check. I hope you'll be sharing the presentation if possible.
yeah,
us.
it's getting recorded, so recording will be sent if you want.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That's it from my side.
Because I think we need the links. Everybody would need the links. The links which.
What I'll do is I'll send you the
Clickable.
PowerPoint also, maybe Shamita, separately. Yeah, on email. You can share it as you think.
That would be great, Sunandu. So, do we have any other questions?
Yes, sir. Can I?
Yes, please go ahead.
Yeah, Dashrath here from Mumbai. So nowadays there is a lot of buzz with regards to the HR analytics. Can you throw some light on the HR analytics, how it is going to be, or how the future disruption will be for the HR because of this HR analytics?
See, when you say HR analytics, I mean, and my ignorance, please correct me if I'm wrong, is more to do with it's not about HR analytics as such. It's more about data analytics. So it can be data in anywhere. So it can be HR, it can be some other form, it can be finance, it can be operations, it can be anywhere. So effectively, what is happening is data analytics is something that has really picked up. And I maybe now that you mentioned, I should have included a couple of slides here about data analytics, which I did not, because we were talking core on the technologies. But data analytics is something which is really picking up, and people are looking at as a career profession. By the way, I'm sure many of us have small children, so or grown-ups. That's something that's going to be the next 10 to 15 years. That's the job that people are actually looking at. So data analytics is nothing but a form of intelligence, artificial intelligence of type of where what happened was, and Dashrath, if you remember, and I'm sure the others would remember as well. Few years back, there was a lot of talk about big data.
Right.
You must have heard that term, big data. So
Right.
basically, big data is nothing but what's happening is every second, literally, the amount of data that gets produced around the world is enormous. And thanks to the computing power, the data can be retained. Earlier, if you go 20 years back, data was still there, but data was written in books and the books were kept in some shelf. So the data was always there. And you'll see, if you go to some government organizations, you'll see books and books and books, rooms full of books. They're nothing but data. But because now the data is stored in computers and social media and our mobile phones and everywhere else, the huge amount of data that is coming in is, what do you do with this data now? So there are organizations or there are data scientists who are working and trying to make sense out of this data, and that is what data analytics is talking about. Now, coming to HR analytics, it would be the same thing. You have again huge amount of information now that you are using ERP, you are using maybe time and attendance systems, you are using um, uh, and other systems that has employee information, learning and development information, uh, human resource management information. So when you bring all of that, and then you have data scientists basically analyze and give you the right outcomes. When I say right outcomes, what I mean is intelligent information predictive analysis. That is what really you're looking for. You should be able to tell that in the year 2022, and I'm just making it up, due to the COVID hopefully coming down, and people traveling more, and maybe recruitments increasing, people actually going to work from their places and not remotely, there might be a huge attrition from existing companies in India especially. So that might be something that your data should be able to analyze, and you're not taking the decision only with the data of HR. So you're using the data of HR, and what you're doing is you're connecting with other sources of data that are available around the world. And then you are making logical and you know uh, predictive analysis. So that is in a very high level what HR data analytics or any data analytics actually is. You are using this big data and making predictive analysis for future, for how you want to plan your L&D, how you want to plan your recruitment cycles, how do you want to, and this is the capability of AI to give you that information. That's the beauty. That's why AI is becoming so pervasive in everything, because it is able to give you the predictive analysis. It is telling you this is how the next 3 years will look like. Of course, things like COVID happens, things can change, but that's different. But typically they will be able to tell you pretty much in with a certain accuracy, this is how things will work. So I know it's a long convoluted answer maybe, but this is what it means effectively, HR analytics or data analytics, to be honest.
Thanks, sir. Thanks for your reply. Thanks for your insight. Thank you very much.
You're most welcome.
Thank you.
Something related to data basically, but again, data we are collecting in cloud, a lot of data which is getting collected
Most
in
of it,
cloud. And
most of it.
okay, so Nanda, I have two questions related to blockchain.
Mhm.
Now, when you say blockchain, everything is transparent, everything will be, black and white.
Mhm.
So I've heard somebody saying blockchain system can replace the banking system, which is normal, like saving accounts or investments. So where is the confidentiality left, of that?
Yes.
Of the banking system, where is the confidentiality if it is
Yeah, no,
everything?
I don't think it will replace the banking system. And I think that's where, if you, I'm sorry I couldn't play that video, and that's where the confusion is. A lot of people are thinking blockchain and Bitcoin are the same thing. That's not. And you know what happened?
About Bitcoin.
I think, yeah, I don't know if some of you know, 2 weeks back, there was an announcement that Dubai coin is being launched. Dubai Bitcoin, or I don't know exactly the name,
Yeah.
what was Dubai Bitcoin. And people lost a lot of money buying that. It was a fraud.
Fraud, yeah.
And just that they used the name Dubai, a lot of investors thought that's the one I want to get, because Dubai's name is attached with it. But it was a fraud. So Bitcoin is nothing but digital currency.
Right.
So, and it's very expensive, by the way. So,
So you think it will not replace the banking system? I mean,
no,
I
it
just
will.
heard,
No, I don't think it will replace anything. But yeah, things can get central bank. The way say central bank,
centralized, yeah.
the way central bank is working across with the banks. I'm sure, if not already has happened, that they are already on a blockchain. I'll give you another example, which is for sure working on blockchain, is the credit check. India has one of the biggest credit checks. UAE is having a very, very well organized credit check for all practical. Whenever we want to, want to get a new credit card, we want to go and open a bank account. They just don't open or give you a credit card just like that. They do a credit check in the back end. So there's a Dubai Credit Bureau, there's a UAE Credit Bureau. They do a credit check. So this credit check is linked with the banks, with your credit cards, other credit cards that you have. It's linked with the central bank. So they actually check that yes, this guy is a genuine person. To If I give him or her a credit card, this person will be using it judiciously. I'm not saying that they get it 100% right all the time, no. But a credit check happens 100%. And I know UAE nationals, because of some small loan or something which was kind of told not to pay back for whatever reason, they might have got a discount. And I'm talking about UAE nationals, I know them by person. But in later in they've forgotten about it. 5 years, 7 years, 10 years down the line, they've tried to take another loan to build a new house or villa or something. They've got stuck in the credit check, because that
Yeah,
document was, though it was closed, but that maybe there's no proper documentation, or legally there was something pending. So it's showing them there's an outstanding amount there. And it happens with everybody. It's not about UAE national, it's about everybody. It can happen with
has
anybody.
come in blockchain, right? I mean, it is all
For
transparent to all the banks.
I feel they are definitely connected through a blockchain, if not already. So there are cases where financial fintech, as you must have again heard this term fintech. A lot of fintech, they are all connected using blockchain already, and using it. So, but again, I don't think the banks will close down or something, or it will become digital currency. It's a huge change. Even a country like say a country like UK, they have a currency and they're using it. The whole world doesn't use that currency. Just one country uses that currency. So and there are many others like that. So it's difficult to change the entire banking system. I don't think, I'm
So
not a
this
banking expert.
blockchain system can be used for internal banking, transactions or conversations, like central bank controlling all the banks
Yeah, for
and
sure,
making the
for sure,
internal system transparent
for sure,
among themselves. Okay,
for
not to
sure.
the customers.
No, customers can have a token, and I'm sorry to use this term token and all. Basically, customers can have a link to certain functionalities which are applicable to them. It can happen. It depends on how big the blockchain is and how large they want to build it. Because end of the day, we need to bear in mind, see, if you look at this image also, the middle section of the bottom right hand corner, there's a huge amount of computing power that is working also. Though it's shared across the nodes, but still there's an amount of so every transaction is getting noted there. So the number of the transactions, number of transactions you use increase, the number of users you increase in the blockchain. Obviously, there's a cost also, inherent cost. But again, eventually it might go that way. You'll have a unique number, and that's who you are. I mean, maybe not blockchain, but the way, if you see our in the UAE, the way our everything is connected now with the Emirates ID.
Like UID, we also have an
Yeah,
Emirates ID. I was
yeah.
talking about that only.
It's a very good example of all services. Now they're saying even in the banks you won't need your debit cards. Emirates ID should be good enough. That's what is coming apparently. So yeah, I mean, there are uh, opportunities and use cases is what I mean.
My another question is, what are exactly smart contracts? Is it also on blockchain?
Smart contracts are on blockchain. So basically, the contracts which we used to normally typically sign contracts,
Employer-employee contracts. Okay.
any contracts, yeah. So when using a blockchain, these are called smart contracts. In blockchain term, it's called a smart contract. It's available, accessible to everybody. It's immutable. It cannot be changed. I mean, unless you want to change it, and there's a record for change. So this is how it's a name, you can say. It's the same thing. It's a contract, effectively.
Okay. All right. Great. Any other questions do we have?
Can I ask one more question if we have the bandwidth of time?
Yes, please, Dashrath. Go ahead.
I'm happy, no problem.
Okay, sir. We are talking about technology disruption in the HR field, right? Now, if a person who has worked for a company where the technology is not used at all, and suddenly he wanted to catch up with this technology, and that person has worked for 15, 20 years, what advice will you give to such HR person? How he or she can start with to catch up with the technology? No doubt it is too late.
See, it's never too late, because I think end of the day we are all all of us are trying to catch up. So there's nothing late. Again, it's a case of how you want to use it. You have to see, if you see I mean, this is my take, and this is not this is nothing to do, it's not an HR answer, it's a general answer. End of the day, if we see a value being, if technology can help us getting a value with an open mindset, and it's possible to use it. Why not? I mean, there's nothing. It's not about, you see, again, you as a HR professional will not go and do something. You say, okay, I have this task which I do. Just an example, say, I mean, every year there's, say, some kind of a compliance record that needs to be signed by all my 1,000 employees. Now that's a very non-value add activity for a HR professional, is how I will see it. I mean, why can't you automate that process? Why can't you think of, let's look at how we can make it using some of the tools as simple as, and again, let's not talk about AI, blockchain, anything. As simple as I put it on SharePoint, and every year on a certain date this will run. This job will run. People will automatically get on the 1st of January every year one link from the company saying that, and I'm making this up. Again, you need to talk to your IT and to your teams.
Right.
On 1st of January, and a link will be sent to all employees. Click, finish the compliance sheet, submit. The results are accumulated. If you have an RPA engine at the back, it will even compile your results, and it will give you an answer saying that out of the 1,695 have responded with answers 1, 2, and 3, and the rest have not responded or responded with a negative answer. Then you can take actions. And even if you enhance the RPA, it will even initiate the action. Suppose you have, and by the way, something is happening like this at this point in time, which is many of the organizations are inquiring if I can't say about India at this point in time, because I know India, the vaccination is a bit slow. In the UAE, HR for most organizations are actually trying to figure out if all their employees have been vaccinated or not. And they are really pushing for it because the government is also pushing for it.
Okay.
So it's a very easy thing to find out. If you have a simple tool which runs, every week, people say yes, no, or if you need some more data, you ask for more data. And then in the back end, some engine can, just give you a result saying that we are 80%, vaccinated and 20% still. And why? And and see, that's where people have to always start thinking that this manual activity I will try and automate, or I will use technology. Whereas now the next part, which is more like the intelligent activity, is something I'll invest my time in. How can I not waste time running this survey, but taking the actions out from the survey? So if you start thinking like that, I think this opportunity for everybody to use technology. It's so easy now available. I mean, it's there are so many online tools now available which are free of cost. If any of you use Microsoft as your main platform and use Office 365 or Teams for web
Yeah,
conferencing,
we use
etc.
it. We use it.
If you use Teams,
Yeah.
if you have bothered to look on the left panel, there are typically, you see a few things on the left top corner. After that, typically there is like three dots. Have you thought about to click on those three dots and check? There are so many free tools available that you can use. And you don't need IT, you don't need anybody. You can use yourself.
Okay.
So again, I'm not saying you will be able to use immediately, or you just tomorrow you start thinking and you start using it. No, but maybe with some help and with with the with with uh, with Google and with all technology available at our fingertips, it's easy to search and find. Even learning, you can take a tool and and just go on Google and search. Okay, or the best thing, YouTube. Don't need to
Right.
yeah.
Absolutely right.
People like me are learning cooking, but I'm sure there are more people learning. I mean, yeah. I recently I did something. I had a mobile phone which I couldn't do a feature. I just went on YouTube and searched for it. It literally showed me as a video. I mean, by the way, a piece of information, when Google purchased YouTube, people were laughing. They said, Google have wasted. I think they bought it for $1 billion or something like that back in 2008-9, and now see who is laughing. That was the best investment by Google, to be honest. Because now now YouTube is a learning platform, the biggest learning platform in the world. You can learn anything. So yeah, I mean, it's small steps at a time, I would suggest. Why not?
Right. Absolutely right. Great, sir. Great reply. Sir, I mean, this is the first HR session I am attending online. Otherwise, I keep on attending motivation session. Being HR person, I keep on attending motivation session like time management, goal setting. I give the lecture also on this. But this is really an eye opener. I've never thought this such thing is there for the HR to think out of the box. And no doubt it's a small steps, but really the repetitive work, how you can automate it. That's really keep me thinking. Now there are so many things which I can automate, which I never thought about.
And you guys know more than I do. I mean, you know what repetitive work you guys do. I mean, I'm just saying based from my minimal knowledge that I have. But
Great.
Thanks, sir. Thanks a lot.
That is very well answered.
Yeah, good evening. This is Nitya Ruben here. Can I just ask you one question?
Yes, Nitya, go ahead.
Yeah, thank you very much. It's a very informative session. I'm just curious to know, in adapting to the technology, besides banking industry, which other industry has been quick enough? And has there been resistance from the other industries? Generally, for automation, people, tend to resist because they feel that there's a job insecurity and all that. So,
See now, you're right, and I'm not going to say no to that. There is always some initial resistance, but the way technology is taking over our uh, lives, and more availability of technology, and the ease of use. It's not about, earlier you had to pay a lot of money to get some technology, but now it's not. It's easy, it's free. I mean, think of a company like Microsoft, as I put it in the slide. They're giving these tools free for 12 months for people to use. I mean, why are they doing that? I mean, end of the day, they know that if somebody starts using it after 12 months, they'll pay for it. So they have their own agenda, but the fact of the matter is, it's available and it's easy to use. But no, you're not right in saying that only the finance industry is using it. Finance industry are doing, yes, uh, because of the amount of data they gather. It's easy for implementation in the finance industry. If you see who did automation the first, it was always the manufacturing industry. Manufacturing industry is the most automated industry from a very, very long time. I mean, if you go to a car manufacturing plant, you'll not see anything done by hand. Everything is done by robots. So it was never that. But has everybody lost their jobs in the car industry? No. Yes, maybe some. Yes, I'm not saying no, but there is there's always some amount of resistance, and you are 100% correct. But I think it's a matter of convincing also it, and it's again change of culture. We talk, and we can have a session on culture change, which is I'm sure you guys know much more than I do, where uh, you know uh, 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 maybe sometimes you need leadership from the top to uh, to imbibe these technologies, or move forward. Sometimes you need from within. There you need change makers. And just before the question that we were answering before, for I think Dashrath was asking that we need change agents within ourselves. If you are ready to change, you find a helpful partner, maybe in IT, and say that, listen, these are the three things I want to change. How can you help me? It works good for both parties, and it has to happen in some way or form. Unfortunately, the thing is, with so much technology available now, it will drive our lives. We've seen what COVID did. Nobody, how many Zoom meetings have we done in the last 1 year, and how many had we done before this? Half the people had never heard even about Zoom. Or not half, maybe 95% of the people had never heard about Zoom before March this time last year. So it is happening. I mean, it's a case of we accept it or we don't accept it. If we don't accept it, unfortunately, it's there for staying. It's not going away. I mean, I mentioned
so
about
for
big
question
data.
number
So,
one, it is okay. Sorry. For question number one, it's banking industry, that is finance, and then manufacturing industry. They have been
manufacturing actually
using.
automated much before.
Yeah.
Finance automated later, but
Okay.
yes, digital automation has been faster in finance industry because of no. I mean, medical industry is hugely automated. Medical industry is hugely automated. And don't look at those bunch of papers that they sign in the hospitals and clinics. Operations are done through computers. Actual operations are done through computers. The doctor is only monitoring. It's that is AI, by the way. I mean, I didn't give the example. Operations are done by computers. That's AI, pure AI, because it has learned. The machine has learned so much. It can do better than the doctor.
The
So
robotic arm doing the operation. In
yes,
some
yes, absolutely. And it's
And
very very prevalent.
Sunandu, I think one more area has been logistics of late. The
Yes,
blockchain and the smart
absolutely.
contracts have so many people have lost their jobs because of the blockchain and the smart contracts coming into logistics.
Yeah, I mean, I cannot say no. I mean, yes, I'm sure that's a fact. But that is going to happen. This is the fact is we can't hide, and that's where as HR professionals, I think when you manage your manpower, you should be able to give them something which they can move to that supervisory kind of a job role, which just the basic automation doesn't take them out of their jobs. They still have a value add. If you make them add value to the business instead of doing transactional, and this is what I always tell everybody, even within my team, even others, we need to look at, we need to move people from transactional activities to value added activities, because transactional activities eventually will get automated. It's a matter of time.
upskilling from that boring transactional activities to more strategic and supervisory.
Correct. I mean, just think of how many times we go to the bank. We hardly go to the bank. That the people who are sitting on the um, um, on the desks. If you go to a bank after 6 months or a year, you'll see the number of desks reducing. Every time you go, you'll see it's shrinking, because that's a pure transactional job. Everybody is doing it online, so they don't need those people. So I mean, it's a give and take, but I think unfortunately we can't throw out the technology, so it will stay and it will increase only.
Okay, so we need to complement with each other, like artificial intelligence as well as human intelligence, both.
Absolutely. We need to, because otherwise it will become a transformer also. So we don't want that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We are 40 minutes more than time. So I guess all questions are answered, or do we have any other questions? Most of the participants are also leaving.
Thank you, Sunandu. This was quite a good session, because basically when Shamita said let's have it on blockchain, I was telling let's have a all-round session, because we'll get an entire all-round idea about HR tech in whatever area it is, and definitely it was quite an eye-opener. Thank you for this.
Yeah.
No, thank you for giving me the opportunity. I think it was nice to have a discussion, and that's what I was. I mean, I prefer having a discussion than just talking. We share examples, we share our knowledge, and at the end of the day, you know your business much more than I do. And so,
thank you, Sanandos. Thank you so much for your time. The best part, what I liked is, how you ask the HR professionals that you have to find your own use case. So how we have to see where we have to apply the technology, what kind of technology, what use case in recruitment or in employee engagement, how to identify. And you told us a lot of things about Internet of Things, chatbots, how they are connected, functioning of blockchain and robotic automation system, intelligent information predictive analysis. So we touched upon almost all the points, and I think we can have a next lengthy session if people are interested on blockchain or one or two type of technologies.
Sure. I mean, again, it was good that day we had when we were talking, prior to this session, that it made more sense that we did it in a all. I mean, just give the idea, and I know it was all very high level, but if people can think of some use cases, and then we can have so much more meaningful, discussion on any subject, say an RPA, or I mean, just think of, if you have that small feature of allowing employees to book the leave through a chatbot, how much satisfaction it will provide to the employees. It's a very
Save
small
the time of the HR manager also, and automate the process.
Yes.
is giving the time of to the HR to do more strategic thinking and to do more supervisory tasks.
Correct. So anyway, I think
Thank you so
I
much,
think
everybody, for joining.
another example. One more example.
Okay.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
bye.
Thank you so
Thanks
much.
for having
Take
us.
care.
Thank you.
See you again. Thank you. Bye-bye.